it's Kathy, and I'm back for day 9, which I guess I'm gonna have to just say is like video 9, because I may be doubling up my videos for the next few days, just because of the crazy busy time that is Christmas, and yeah, just trying to get everything done, and I really wanted to make sure that I got this video set done. And I do apologize. It's like first thing in the morning, so my voice is kind of raspy right now as I do this voiceover. So I do apologize. I'll try to edit it so that it sounds at least somewhat listenable, if that's a word. So for this layout, it's going to be a really simple one, which I guess kind of ends up being a challenge for me, only because I always want to keep adding more, even when it doesn't really call for it. But I'm starting with that chalkboard looking paper, and it's from October Afternoon Winter Wonderland, so it's from, I think, maybe 2013 or 14, and it's part of a collection that I have the complete collection of, and just have not gotten around to using it all. So I have these 2 pictures of my son from a few years ago. I think this was possibly maybe the first Christmas that we spent at the house that we currently live in. And I was taking some pictures of him, and these were the best 2 that I could find. Just because of sun and, blurring and stuff like that. So they don't really have like a theme. Like I have no story really behind them, except I was just taking pictures of the kids in front of the Christmas tree. So it does get a little bit challenging when it comes to designing and decorating, like embellishing for this type of layout, because I really am not sure what to do with it. So I decided picking a really busy paper was my first challenge that I was going to work with, and figuring out how to then embellish a really busy pattern paper would be my second challenge. So I'm just backing my 2 photos with some papers from 6x6 paper pads or different things like that, just to kind of get a bit of a design going. I mean, you don't see a lot of the papers because they're kind of being covered over mostly, but it's enough that I like it, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, even though you only see a little bit of the patterns. So my thought process here was to just do, 2 strands of baker's twine, one going from one photo and then one going from the other photo, up at the top and up at the bottom. And kind of the reasoning for this was because it was at the top and because it was at the bottom, I could just use my stapler to staple the baker's twine down, as opposed to attempting to use glue, which even with a fine line bottle is tricky. So I wasn't too worried about it. I just had to make sure. I didn't want to be bothered. I know you can flip up your tiny attacher and use it so in any part of the page, but I didn't really want to be bothered with that. So I made sure that my baker's twine was close enough to the top and close enough to the bottom that I could just use the stapler as is to make it work. And by doing it, I'm only putting staples in so many places, so there is still a bit of, not give, but the baker's twine can still move. Now I'm going to be putting embellishments over top and sticking them down, so there'll be less possibility of movement for the baker's twine, but still a little bit, which is kind of interesting. Like, it's not 100% stuck down in that spot. So I had debated which place I wanted to put my photos, but I liked the idea that the top one was almost looking down and the bottom one was kind of looking up. So I just thought that was really, really kind of cute. And I'm putting them on a tilt because, it just gives a little bit more of a fun um, look to it. And I wasn't sure what kind of embellishments I wanted to go with. I really liked that piece, and I kind of think in the end I should have gone with this one for the title, because in the end I just go with the big chipboard from the Fa La La La. I can never say that right. Um, from that collection, and it just says Merry Christmas. So that's all the title ends up being for it. Sorry guys, my messages are coming through on my computer. Yay. Normally that doesn't actually even happen, so I don't even have to worry about it. But yeah, I was going to put those the love and the joy, which were actually like chalkboard versions, but I don't end up using them, and I think it had to do with the fact that I couldn't find them when it came time to using it. The plaid joy there, I really liked it, and I did want to use it. I just thought the only reason I don't end up using it, and I could have, because it does match some of the pattern paper that I backed the photos with. Oh, I'll have to explain why you suddenly have a jump. Was because I wasn't seeing it well enough against the paper. So that's why I don't end up using it. So if you're wondering why it suddenly jumped and there was so much going on, I had to leave my room for a minute or two for some reason to help my husband, I think. I think this was the day he fell down the stairs, which is kind of one of the reasons the videos are not up the way as quickly as they normally would be. Anyway, while I was helping him, my youngest got in my room and up on my table and was messing around with my layout. And I was recording. I was still recording at the time because I just darted out of the room. I didn't bother turning anything off. So it recorded him trying to rip some of the pictures off and stuff like that. And that's why some of the embellishments were stuck down, and when I hadn't stuck them down, stuff like that. That's why the baker's twines all kind of messed up, is from him getting up on my desk and deciding to play with my layout. So I had to kind of come back and fix a few things, but thankfully it wasn't, he didn't find any permanent markers and mark all over it or anything like that, which is kind of his usual MO. So yeah, so that was fun. And yeah, we've been kind of at the house, we've been kind of dealing with a few, topsy-turvy kind of events. So it has really put a strain on getting time in my craft room to work on stuff. The fact that I'm actually recording videos and everything on Christmas Eve is kind of strange, but I hate the idea of giving up and not getting it done, I guess, would be the thing. So, I dedicated myself to doing this. It was a challenge. I knew it was going to be a challenge, and I want to make sure that I do the challenge. So I'm using some American Crafts sweater weather stuff too, which is where the bear comes from. It's where the sweater comes from. It's not that the picture has anything to do with being chilly or being outside, but I have to say that little icon of the sweater worked so perfectly because of the shirt that he's wearing. I mean, it's not an exact replica, but it looks very close. I think he's actually wearing a shirt that says choo choo something. I don't know. I don't think it says choo choo choose me, but something like that. Anyway, I just thought that little sweater was kind of a perfect little icon for it, and that tree was very nice. So I know I want to put, now at this point I've got a present at the top and a candy at the bottom, and they have pink on them. So I made sure that I had pink in both sides because it just seemed really weird to me to bring in pink in one spot and then not bring it in another. And I had no reason to bring in pink necessarily. It's just that many of the new, much of that crepe paper and sweater weather collection have pink in them. So, you know, in order to utilize those products, I kind of had to incorporate some pink, and it's not really a big deal, as I've said different times. Right now, I think my biggest struggle is just trying to find, like, do I want to add more? Have I added enough? You know, I don't want to cover the entire baker's twine, but I just, you know, I'm kind of enjoying decorating it up as if it's either like a string of lights or a string of garland or something like that. And yeah, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll put some stuff underneath the photos, and then I didn't even do that. This is one of those layouts where it's all about simplicity, and because of that, it's an actual struggle for me. And then I was like, oh, I love this favorite. It's really cute, but again, it doesn't actually make sense, you know, because I'm not necessarily just calling this a favorite photo. So, you know, my whole idea, and I do apologize if you guys can hear my TV in the background. My son likes to listen to TV quite loud, and that has a little bit to do with some hearing loss that he has. So anyway, I was trying to find a place to put the Merry Christmas. It kind of could have worked anywhere. But one of the tricks with using such a busy background, I found, was that using a big chipboard title or like one of those big foam words or something like that really helps a title stand out as opposed to just individual thickers. So that was kind of my thought process there. And in the end, I really do like this layout. It's just kind of a fun, simple, little whimsical layout. Not too much going on, but, you know, still fun and festive. And I love all the pops of red on it. So I'm putting a little bit of white ink, and then I think I put a little bit of gold, but I don't do a whole lot because it really doesn't need it. Just a little sprinkle here and there. So that's pretty much it. That is the layout. I get ink on the picture. I don't really care. I mean, I get it off enough. So yeah. So thank you guys so much for your patience, for following this series, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!